Thank you for checking out our Nerdy Bits here at Friends Talking Nerdy. This is Tim the Nerd, and I am seated with Professor Aubrey. Back to work, Professor Aubrey.
That's right.
The strike is over, and you won.
That's right. I said we wouldn't quit it until we win it. And then we won it.
That's right.
Yes. Yes. So there's still a lot of drama and politics around it. And actually the Mercury, which is our local Portland weekly, had a story about the president and her unethical use of the school slogan, "One together, together, one." And so we in the union decided we were going to make t-shirts that said one, WON, together, together, WON.
Oh, snap.
Seriously, I'm very excited about it.
Well, that is good. I'm definitely excited that you were able to survive this strike and not have anything too calamitous happen, because it is a gamble when you do that.
It absolutely was. And as you know, I was very concerned and very stressed out. In the last days, I was certain that we were going to really get hosed. I was just like, come on, like, let's go ahead and settle. Let's go ahead and settle. But the bargaining team really stuck to what the membership said they wanted, which included being paid for strike days that they would have to make up the work for. So that all ended up in the contract. So it's all good.
Well, there you go. I'm quite happy for the results.
Yes, me too.
All right, and I'm also quite happy to hear about your song of the week, and we will put it out there to start things off. Just like last week, this is a situation to where we're going to be talking about the same song interpreted in two different ways here. I don't think we have to throw a surprise to the audience this week, but tell us what your song is.
All right, the song we're going to talk about tonight is Together Again, a song written by Buck Owens. But my song of the week is Together Again, performed by Emmylou Harris.
Good choice. I've talked about that song on Tim's Tremendous Tapes before. Also talked about, it was thanks to you that I ultimately did discover that her connection to Graham Parsons. I'd always been familiar with Graham Parsons and a fan of his work thanks to his friendship with Keith Richards, but I didn't know he had anything to do with Emmylou Harris.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and I probably shouldn't have phrased it that way. What I mean ultimately is that he ended up facilitating her first big chance. When you get noticed and get famous, it's really about those chances that you can get when you meet the right people. She met the right person in Graham Parsons, but she was able to take the ball that he gave her and make a successful career out of it.
That's right. And she's still, she's touring right now in the United States, but then she's going to Europe. And she is a really important part of the folk country Americana genre of music.
Well, tell us why you chose that version of the song.
Well, because like me, that version of the song is melancholy. When when you compare the two versions, completely different emotional states. The Buck Owens version is kind of just happy to be together again with, I don't know, a friend or a lover, and just like happy. And the Emmylou Harris version is like they broke up and they're going to go to lunch together. And she's preparing for that experience. And yes, they will be together again, but it's bittersweet because of the breakup. So it's like remembering past hurts, which is pretty much the opposite of how you feel when you listen to the Buck Owens version.
You are completely dismissing Buck Owens.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that his version is like more straightforward and nicer, funner.
A funner would not be a word I would use to describe it. Is it a different take? I 100% agree with that. Yes, and to be clear, that is the song I've chosen myself, Buck Owens' version, the original version of that song. And the thing that links them both together, obviously, is the words. And one thing that I've come to really appreciate about Buck Owens' music is just what a great songwriter he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amazing songwriter and musician, guitar player, Buck Owens.
Yeah, we've seen enough hee-haw.
Yep. And Bakersfield sound.
Yeah, because when people think of country music, the like average person in the Yankee streets out there or the West Coast, they typically think Nashville, and yeah, Nashville is the number one hub of country music out there. But you could make a really strong argument that the number two hub would be in Bakersfield, California.
Rather than LA.
Yeah, rather than LA. Why do you think they call it the Bakersfield Sound?
Right, but like
But
a lot of country artists lived in LA.
but you also have to remember too. I mean, in the bigger artists, sure, I can give you that. The bigger artists, because the bigger studios, the more prestigious studios are going to be in the LA area. But Bakersfield is in the northern part of California, and California, being the huge state that it is, does have the reputation of being a very liberal state. That doesn't mean every single person that lives in that state is liberal. In fact, there are in the northern part of California is where a lot of their conservative people actually live and cohabitate with each other and all that stuff. Rush Limbaugh, in fact, first hit it big when he was on the radio in Sacramento, California.
Really?
Yes, so there is that. I know Dwight Yoakam was one of the people that came from the Bakersfield Sound, and it's a different type. Oh, it's a different way of producing music that was different than what Nashville did, both in the '60s and '70s, or just comparing the two throughout all time. I mean, Nashville has always been very strict, I guess, in terms of how they feel music should be presented. Now, it has obviously changed over the years, but it is still very much a hardcore formula that they are quite reluctant to break from.
Yeah, and I was just, you said Bakersfield was in North California, and I was like, huh, and it's not. It's like a little bit north of LA, which is what I thought. It was like the country alternative to LA, just kind of up Interstate 5 from LA. And inland. It's very hot there. It's very hot there. So they had to do something interesting. So I guess that's what they did there. I don't know what else Bakersfield is known for.
Buck Owens. I don't know. I'm not a historian on Bakersfield or anything like that, but like I've mentioned on the show before, I've definitely come to a much greater appreciation for his music and his role in music history, because you could be like I was back in the day and remember him as that guy from the show you don't like called Hee Haw, and completely disregard everything he's done. But why would the Beatles want to record him? Why would Emmylou Harris want to record his work? Why would Dwight Yoakam want to work with him? And it was really a growing realization on my part that I was letting kind of biased, kind of cloud my judgment in terms of whether I should enjoy them or not. Now, having said that, there are plenty of other musicians that have been on Hee Haw that I still don't like today, and you know what? That is fine. But in Buck Owens' case, I initially did let his association with that show kind of. I instantly was like, "Don't like him," and I was hilariously wrong.
Yeah, it's always good when that happens, right? To be pleasantly surprised.
Indeed, indeed. And, like I said, it was, one way, I guess, for me to get over my bias, because, I mean, there have been plenty of other times where I've had biases over a certain type of music that I just knew I would not like it. Like Shake It Off from Taylor Swift. I was like, I don't like her music. And then heard that song. I was like, damn, that's a good song.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to discover
Mhm.
no, discovering new things, period. You know, it's like I like what I like, and I really have to work at stretching my boundaries, let's say. But the times that I have, you know, whether it be movies, TV, music, books, or whatever, most of the time I come away at the very least with an appreciation.
Yeah, I think that's really important to you.
Yeah, yeah, like last week, you know, when we talked about Diamonds and Rust, and I listened to the Judas Priest version again and again. Also took a chance to actually, for the first time, hear Joan Baez's version.
I can't believe that was the first time you listened to it.
Yeah, yeah. One time I
Mhm.
listened.
Yeah.
Give it the old college try because it's like with her, it's like Diamonds and Rust. It sounds like that. Just that lilt in her throat.
Give me diamonds and rust.
But anyway,
Anyway, so did you know that Buck Owens and Emmylou recorded the song together and they called it Play Together Again, Together Again?
no, I played together again. And it was, I think I've told you this before. The guy who wrote that and produced that
Mhm.
is the father of the lead guitar player and drummer for Pantera.
Weird.
Yeah, so that's Buck Owens' connection to Pantera.
Well, you know, we're all 6 degrees separated from Pantera.
Well, he also has a connection to Nirvana, remember?
Oh, didn't Nirvana do one of his songs?
No, it's more of a distant connection, but I count it. Buck Owens, back in the day, you know, like a lot of people, I believe Roy Acuff did it. There were a number of musicians who would put out their own musical instruments, a brand name musical instrument, and Buck Owens had the Buck Owens American guitar.
Yes.
And on MTV Unplugged, the Nirvana Unplugged, Pat Smear, who essentially had just recently joined Nirvana in order to take care of like lead guitar duties, so Kurt could focus more on just rhythm guitar and everything. Pat Smear played a Buck Owens American guitar, and we actually saw that guitar at the Nirvana exhibit at Mopop in Seattle.
Hey, cool. It all comes around, comes around.
Yeah, and from, you know, what I've read on Buck Owens, and again, I'm not his historian in any way, shape, or form, but I think I've read enough to relatively confidently say that even though he would probably not have been a fan of Nirvana, I think he would have appreciated the fact that at the very least they used his guitar.
Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe he was the kind of person who could change with the times when it comes to entertainment.
I would like to think so because, I mean, again, why would the Beatles cover him? And yeah, I'm just speculating. He may have hated it. He may have come out with the whole campaign. Who knows? In real life, but you know, I would like to think that as he would have appreciated it more than anything else, if only because it would be money in his pocket. You know.
Sure, sure.
But anyway, Together Again is one hell of a song, and if yeah, I can find it. Should I put that Play Together Again song on the playlist as well as a bonus?
I think so, yeah.
All right, we're gonna do that, folks, because we love you.
That's right. We want to give you as much content as you can stand.
Yes, oral excitement, AURAL. But big reason we're doing that is because this coming Wednesday on Friends Talking Nerdy, we are going to be having a wonderful conversation with Dr. Mary Ellen Pethel, a professor from Belmont University, who is the co-author of the book Howdy, the Minnie Pearl Story.
That's right. We have a wonderful episode for you where we're going to talk to Mary Ellen. And it's great for me because my cousin, Keely, hey, Keely, if you're listening, went to Belmont University. And so I have that connection with Nashville and with Belmont. And I've been on the campus of Belmont, and it's very beautiful, sort of antebellum looking place.
Now, when you were on the campus, were you aware at the time that Minnie Pearl had attended that school?
Absolutely not. I wasn't aware of anything. But, the thing about Nashville, one of the coolest things about Nashville is the scale model they have of the Parthenon that you can walk in. Like, it's big enough to it's still big, it's just not the size of the Parthenon, and it has all of the statuary and everything reproduced just like the actual Parthenon.
Yeah, Grand Rapids has, I'd say similar because we're talking about ancient stuff in building and everything, but apparently back in the day, Leonardo da Vinci had drawn up ideas, basically a blueprint for a horse statue he wanted to do, but never realized in his time. And at the Frederick Meyer Gardens in Grand Rapids, they actually ended up building it. And there are a couple of them in the world. One of them is in Grand Rapids. I don't know where the other one is, but a Leonardo da Vinci horse is in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, of all the places.
Yeah, I mean, Grand Rapids seems to have an art scene.
We tried. We tried.
Well, you haven't been back there in a long time. You don't really know what it's like, do you?
No, I've not been back since 2011. It would be great to visit, but also maybe not. Like, I kind of felt that way in 2011, but the reason I went back was because of my mom's funeral. So, I was going to go no matter what. But it wasn't like a personal, I'm just going to go for the fun of it, because to me, going back would be kind of like, having a successful movie from 1982 suddenly have a new 2026 sequel with the original cast members. And it's just like, is it really going to live up to the expectations of the original? Probably not. There's a chance it could. There's a chance it could. But more than likely, it would just be disappointment. And, I've already seen some videos too, because on Facebook, for whatever reason lately, they've been having a lot of unique Grand Rapids pages pop up. And apparently, they have a new soccer stadium that they're building in Grand Rapids, and they're going to call it Amway Stadium.
Amway Stadium. They're still up on the Amway in Grand Rapids, that's for sure.
Yeah, that Grand Rapids gave the world Betsy DeVos after all.
Yeah, Grand Rapids. Good.
Yeah, First Gerald Ford and then that. But, I mean, at least Gerald Ford did some good.
He wasn't evil, I'll give him that.
Yeah. On that note, anything else you want to say to our friends at home?
Take a listen to the playlist, and I hope you enjoy it. And, get together with the person you want to be together with again.
You dirty girl. Anyway, yes, the interview, if you hear this episode, the date it comes out is going to drop this coming Wednesday. The first episode on Illusions Month. The Reverend Tracy and I will be doing an episode on parasocial relationships, a topic you and I have discussed in the past, but take it down some different avenues with the Reverend Tracy. And then we got happy news coming up on Sunday. We got more songs of the week next week. And then if we have other shenanigans we can think of that we think will entertain your ears at home in the most oral way, AURAL, we will be here for you.
That's right. All content all the time.
That's right, because you love us here at Friends Talking Nerdy.
And we love you.
On that note, you dirty, dirty people, thank you for checking out our nerdy bits. We will see you next time. Subscribe to Friends Talking Nerdy
on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Bye, friend.